All right, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is E.R. Wolf. I'm joined by my partner, Guy Toole, and a bunch of the LFI community, and you are joining us for Monday Sprint Planning. Ruben, it's good to see you on. Brenda, always a pleasure. Now, guys, you know the drill. This is the beginning of the week. This is our opportunity to make a plan for the week and then execute that plan. It's as simple as that. We know that people who put their plans down in writing, who prioritize those items, who block time to get things done, and who work on the little things so the big things take care of themselves, make forward progress towards their goals, their weekly goals, their monthly goals, their quarterly goals, and eventually their annual goals. And that's really what this call is all about. It's a reminder to you. And Guy, you and I were talking a little bit, obviously had a wonderful, Father's Day weekend and things like that. And we're leading into the new week. And one of the things that we were talking about is the top priority items. We focus on the win list, what's important right now. And one of those top priority items that you were really adamant on, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, is sharing. So I'm going to throw it over to you, and let's talk about the role of sharing this week and how everybody can benefit by making sharing a priority as part of their weekly plan.
Well, I think that's, this is going to lead in from our discussion on Friday of your network is your net worth, and talking about how networking for so long potentially has had a negative connotation based on people walk in looking, how can this network benefit me? Instead of what value can I bring to this network? How can I help each individual in this network? And so sharing really goes into the networking aspect, or the being able to build rapport with a potential customer, client, networker, those different types of things. So why is sharing so important? How you get information out. Yeah. And if you are reluctant to share, you're reluctant to move forward. Yeah. And it's just that simple. There's so many ways to share your whatever you want to share. Through the Shuffle application, through text, email, QR scanning, tapping with your tap card, sharing of links, those different types of things. So if you look at your day and say, I didn't have an opportunity to share, well, were you on your phone today? Were you talking to anybody? That's really what it comes down to, is sharing is going to get that information out. And that's what we are all trying to do here, is share information about what LFI can provide, what you can provide to others, and what you can provide to others that will benefit them. And that's probably the most important thing when going into a relationship or going into a conversation with someone is sitting there and listening and sharing and saying, I think I know your problem. I have a solution. Here's a problem. I have a solution. There's a solution to most everyone's problems, right? We talked it last Friday. The solution can be your network. When you share the right information to the right person at the right time, bringing people into your network. Anyone that you ever have a conversation with and you have their contact information, they're in your network, right? Same goes, you're in their network. And we get opportunities passed to us every day. I would rather be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared. And I'm prepared to share information about what I do. I'm prepared to share information about what ER does. I'm prepared to share information about what anyone does, because I know the value of what this platform can do and what this network can do. And I live it, right? We live it because we get the ability to, but we have great partners just like everyone else who are joining, who are watching later, who just knowing by sharing information, that's what networking, when we go back to the brass tacks of it all, is just sharing, is building relationships. And so we encourage people this week, and we'll make sure that, we're going to get back to our roots with sprint planning. When we first started this, 15 minutes, we got to know what our week is, what we're doing, where we need support, who we need to reach out to, those different types of things. Same thing's going to happen here on our Monday sprint planning. It's going to be an effective week. How's it going to be an effective week? Well, we're encouraged to share.
Yep.
We're encouraged to share information about ourselves. We're encouraged to share information about an opportunity that maybe somebody's ready for, that they didn't know that they have an opportunity for yet. So that's what we're going to look at. We get to sit down and say, well, these are all the executive type meetings that we have throughout the week. And we have a handful of them. We have our development ones, and those are solely going to be focused on at that point. But in those corporate executive type meetings, it's about sharing information.
100%.
That's all it is. We're sharing information. We're listening to their problem and providing them a solution.
Well, Guy, I think that boils down to being the crux of everything, right? It's all about sharing. If you're out there prospecting this week, if you've carved out time this week to prospect or to generate new leads in your business, you're going to have to share some information during the course of that action, right? If you're prospecting with people, you're going to be introducing yourself. If you're networking with people, you're going to be introducing yourself. You're sharing information, right? If you're having conversations with people about who you are, what you do, your products, your service, you're going to be sharing information. You're going to be marketing. So what marketing material are you going to be sharing this week out? If you're an LFI affiliate and you're focused on building the business, you might be sharing an invite to come to one of the 4 calls that we're going to be having this week, right? You might be sharing some information about LFI, about the affiliate program, about Shuffle, about Tap. It's all about sharing, guys. And I think this is a good theme for this week as a whole, is sharing. Is getting out there and saying, what am I going to be sharing? Here's the other thing. Guy mentioned it, right? When we're networking, we're not just focusing on how does the network serve us, we're focusing on how we can serve the network. So if you're sharing, are you sharing other people's stuff? And if so, how are you sharing it? Are you saying, hey, I can refer you business. I know somebody who needs to meet you. Give me your digital card. And if they don't have one, you're sharing Shuffle with them. That's where I think there's so much opportunity, Guy, is to come in and say all of the areas of where I'm sharing, and reflect on that as you're planning out this week. Am I prepared to be out there sharing? What am I going to be doing this week, and where am I going to encounter instances where I need to be sharing? And then lean into that and take the action. Take the action. We've talked about taking the action so many times. I think there's times, Guy, where we look at it and we're like, I could have shared then, or there was an opportunity, but you didn't capitalize on it. And that happens to me all the time too, guys, like, missed an opportunity right there. And I sort of at least acknowledge that. And I'm trying to limit those, right? Every time I get a chance, oh yeah, here's, yep, I've got my phone. Hey, let me show you this, or let me ask you this, or let me tell you this. And just taking the action to get out and share is a huge one.
I mean, you talked about missing those opportunities. We all miss those opportunities, yeah. And we all look back and say, I'm going to do better. But don't make it so I miss every opportunity, because we do know a lot of people who prefer to just sit on their hands when it comes down to sharing, right? It just happens. It's the way of, it's the nature of the beast. It happens so often that people are really encouraged about what they have and what they like, but they just don't know what to do or what to say. Yeah. A lot of times, that's why we have a community here. Feel free to share what you want to share and get feedback. We're more than willing to take a few minutes to give you feedback, critical feedback, whatever that may be, to improve whatever content you're going to be getting information out about, whether that's LFI, Shuffle, your product, services. But here's an opportunity within our communities on our social platforms to ask for people's support. And we're more than willing to help you here. So, Shelly, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a quick question, which may not be turned into something quick. So I shared the dollar card with a business down the street. They love it, of course. And she says, oh, how can my other owner get a card too? So what's the best way to share that? Now that I've already shared one with her, do I make up another card, give it to, because they're also sharing same email and phone number. So it's going to look like, yeah. So that's the problem. I was like, this isn't going to work out really well.
Well, if they're sharing an email or a phone number, they can use that same link, but if they enroll or sign up, they're going to need to use a separate email.
So it's better if I
that's
just
the only
do
thing.
$100.
She could send that same link over to him or her, etc. So you don't necessarily need to generate something specific if they're sharing that same email or phone. But I would preface it that if they both want their own individual cards, they're going to need to create individual accounts and use different email addresses, a personal email or something like that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the information that they have to put on the cards that they build that they're going to be sharing out, but that's what they'll need for their account.
Gotcha. It has to be a different phone number and email?
Different email for registration,
Got
if that makes sense, your account registration.
Yes.
And the reason why it's sort of like that, Shelley, is we do have people who try to share and then say, I need to get my own. It's because of the primary account, the email, the phone number. That's the only one that's going to be able to load and remove contacts as well as get notifications. So if you share a card out and maybe you're sharing with somebody else an account, you're never going to get a notification of it. It's only going to go to that primary account. Yeah.
So I typically would encourage individual accounts. For some people, it works to have two as well. But I would recommend the individual accounts. Another novel tip, which may not work in this situation, but I've used before, if you are trying to share an email address and you don't have something separate and you don't necessarily want to set something up separate and they're truly integrated, like sharing the phone and email, is if it's a Google email address, right before the @ sign, you can put a plus and you can write some additional information. So for example, I'm just going to put it in the chat here, ERWolf plus 123 @ we're supported by Google. So you can see my original email address is ERWolf @ alt10. Yep. But if I put in a plus 123 between the ERWolf and the @ it'll allow me to use the same email address, but sort of create a separate one. It'll still deliver email to the same inbox and all of that, but it would actually create two separate logins on our system. I don't necessarily know if that's the best scenario. It can be a little bit confusing if you've never used it in that way. That's why I would just encourage like maybe a separate email or something.
Yeah, and as many free emails as you can get, just set up a different email. And she probably has a different phone number. So I'll have to, I'm going over there tomorrow to help them because they're super non-technical. So I'm going to set it up for both of them.
Cool. Yep. Just let us know how we can support. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to try and go over around Tech Tuesday.
No, you're good. Ruben, go ahead. Ruben, go ahead.
Okay. In light of the planning, as you know, I go into competitive arenas. In other words, I'm going into live meetings, and guys, it's starting to take place. People are starting to get digital business cards, and they're all, they're not shuffled, but whatever. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, how do I capitalize on this? Number one, I congratulate them that they're using technology as such. Okay. Yep. Then I get their particular card, and guess what? It's free. They said, okay, I download the free.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at it and I go, oh man. This one particular card, it asks for your information. It right in your face. In other words, here, fill this out before I show you this. I mean, like, what's that all about? You see how, and so immediately now I have a mindset. So when I go back to the individual, I say, hey, listen, check this out. And then I compare mine to theirs. And our free version is so beautiful. Picture, video, and then the information request is at the bottom. So I'm armed now with a way to add value to the conversation, but still celebrate the fact that people are starting to pick up that particular technology, which means what? It's a bigger market for me to tap.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's big validation too, Ruben. Like we've been talking about timing and about early adoption and the growth cycle of technology in the marketplace. And I know Guy has spent time talking about some of this subject matter before when we talked about QR codes, guys. Like think about the life cycle of QR codes. They've been around for like 20 something years. But in the States, we did not start the adoption cycle till like the last 3 to 4 years, right? And then it poured fuel on the fire the last 2 years, right? 2020, 2021, QR codes, everybody, right? Everybody in their, and their friends all know what a QR code now is. If you'd have surveyed them in 2018, you might have been 80% of people, what is that? What is that square with all those squares in it? And now my mom knows QR codes, So I think along that same vein, Ruben, we're seeing that things like digital business cards, it's finally coming to the point in the digital age that QR codes or that digital business cards and the way we introduce ourselves can be so much more efficient when we leverage technology. We don't have to print anything. We don't have to carry anything. We don't have to share anything. We can update all the time. But Ruben, to your point, we've got to find ways to compare apples to apples because there's going to be a lot of apples and oranges out there. And as new technology comes into play, and not to say that LFI is new technology, but it's that timing of it, we have to be able to compare and contrast just like what you're talking about. But it goes back to Guy's point as well. Now is the time. Now is the time to share free business cards, premium business cards, dollar trials, all of that type of stuff, because moving forward, that's going to be the adoption. Everybody's going to have digital business cards. And the reality of what we've been working on here at LFI and with Shuffle is these added benefits that come when we're on the Shuffle platform, right? I've come across digital business cards that look great, but they don't serve any other value than just having a single page. And we want to focus on things that Guy's been talking about, I've been talking about, the community's been talking about, like networking. When we are all on a shared platform, that sharing of cards, that cloning of cards, that referring, that card index, all of those other elements above and beyond your digital business card, the landing pages you're creating on Shuffle, are going to create an even bigger value for everybody, because that's the whole point, right? If you come to me with a third-party digital business card, I could probably save it to my home screen like what Ruben's got up in his background, but I'm not going to have it very easily accessible from within my card index like I would if it's a Shuffle card. So that's a huge indicator for me, Ruben, that it's time to really engage and lean forward into the community and say, here is the offering. I've seen a lot of this coming. I remember, Ruben, you even said you raised your hand at one of the events and you're like, how many people out here have a digital business card? And it was maybe like 2 out of 30. And that's a good gauge, right? Because you're going to start to see this adoption happening as more and more people come into the digital card space. And we'll know we're in the growth cycle when it's like 25%, 30%, 40% of the people that you're encountering have a digital business card. Now, it's our goal here at LFI to make sure that as much of that is leveraging LFI and Shuffle as possible, just to create those synergies as we all share cards together. So I love that comment. And again, that's huge validation that a market exists. Go ahead, Ruben.
Okay, and just a few minutes before I came in this room, I scheduled a one-to-one with a new member and his guest. And I know the guest from the pharmaceutical days. They have a company now where everything's turnkey. In other words, this gentleman here focuses specifically on gymnasium, the trainer, but they have other target markets where you subscribe to their service and you get leads automatically, and they follow up and they drive attendance there, and then the revenue will pick up, et cetera. So they were interested in how a digital card, the CMR component, is out there, and see if maybe they can incorporate it with that business. So I had them sitting side by side. And what I did is I took them to the Shuffle. I showed them my Shuffle free, and then I showed them the Shuffle premium.
Mhm,
and explained the differences between them
mhm.
and asked them, if you want to feel comfortable in playing around with it, I would suggest that you try this. And then I developed a card for the one individual, and they really liked it. But his partner was asking most of the questions. And then I said, okay, if I asked him the question, is it time now for you to get on board? And they, well, we want to think about this and think about that. Okay. So I knew that was coming. So I said, okay, well, while you're thinking about this, do me a favor, go ahead and sign up for the free one. And then I
Yeah.
showed him, I created my own free dashboard so I can show them the difference between the premium and the free. I said, this is what it's going to be look like on your dashboard on the free program. Notice there's a little button there for just $1. You press that button and you'll be able to see the magic of the full premium for a month. And
Yep.
then, of course, then it kicks into the subscription. So
Yep.
I left them with that. And then I said, let me ask you this, guys, is there any confusion here? And they go, no. I said, oh, great. Because you know what happens with a confused mind?
Yep.
Nothing happens. So anyway, I invited them to this group here. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, but we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Great. Yep. Great, Ruben. And let us know how we can support. Yep.
Tuesday, you've been
Tuesday,
patient.
you've got your hand up. Go ahead. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, I can't express gratitude on when I think Jeff mentioned in one of the sessions about simplicity. When you, Mr. Wolf, put that link in there that had the card that had every meeting in one place, I put that in my notebook, and now I can, instead of being all over the place, because I do get notified in different emails, now I can be consistent. Okay, so something like that will be very simplistic when I, start asking those that are want to come in to come and share. Just give them that, to join. So I wanted to come in there on simplicity. That's key. Also about missed opportunities. This weekend I had an opportunity. I done a live, and it was over the Father's Day Juneteenth thing, and it was on a nationwide platform. So people know who they buy from, who they know and who they like and who they trust. Talk about opportunities. I definitely mentioned about businesses, how to scale and prepare, and awareness and branding.
Mhm.
And had I had my tap, I could have demonstrated it like that. So I'm just getting back to now, making sure that I can still bring them in based on where I'm at, but I'm definitely honed in so I can be the go-to person to go, and because they're looking for solutions from me and they trust. But I'm just saying, had I demonstrated it, made it simple like that, it's going. So I'm looking forward to how to report from the little things I get, the nuances I get day to day. So I just wanted to just say thank you with that.
I love it. I love it. That's great, Tuesday. And I think this is all about it, right? It's about progress, not perfection. And the fact that you're identifying some of those things and you're already looking at, like I posted back in that week at a glance card that you're talking about in the chat, having things simple, having things in one location, having things put together, putting your own information together, making it simple for the person you're sharing it with. These all go hand in hand. And it's just a matter of identifying those things. And look, if you miss an opportunity here or there, don't stress. Learn from that, right? There's never really a mistake. There's a lesson. You know what I mean? There's never really a failure. There's a learning experience. And then you turn around and you implement it. So now you're going to have your tap card ready and with you next time. And then you'll be able to go out and tap, tap, tap and show. And then you'll come back on the next call and you'll talk about it. Lesson learned, move forward, and get prepared this week to go out and do exactly what you want to be doing. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. Congratulations. Guy, anything else you want to add? I don't want to take up everybody's time on a Monday. We're trying to keep this short and sweet. The number one thing here, guys, when we talk about sprint planning, it's just about making your plan. We can all take 5 minutes right now. What are our top priority items? Just off the top of the head, whatever's at the top of your head is what's most important right now, right? And then put those down in a list. Think about those items. Think about what sharing has to do with each of those items. Is it prospecting? If it's prospecting, what are you going to share with your prospects? You know, if it's sales, what marketing material for your products, your services, your community, etc. What are you going to be sharing out there? If it's on the affiliate side, what information are you going to be sharing to refer a new customer, bring in a new business partner, do those types of things? Just take a little bit of time this morning to lay that out so that you have it down in writing and you can look on that and work towards that. It doesn't get any more complex than that. And then make sure you are laser focused on working towards it, guys. It is one thing to make a plan and then look at it and then get to the end of the week and still have that plan just sitting there in writing. And it's another thing to start taking action on each day of your plan so that you can make forward progress. Now, Scott, I saw your hand go up. Go on ahead, unmute. Welcome to the conversation.
Sure, thanks. Sorry, I can't put my camera on.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm having issues with my camera, but because we're talking about sharing, I just want to share something that happened last week. I was using the card to share with someone one of the primary offerings that I have, and remembering how we talk about it. Oftentimes it takes 80% of sales happen after at least 5 touches, 5 to 12. After I sent my digital card, I reached out the next day and just said, hey, I was just thinking about you, and the digital platform that I use to share that card with you offers a free basic card. I'd love to share that with you if that's something you'd be interested in. She's like, oh, cool, that's great. So it gave the opportunity to set up a further conversation to just build that relationship, as well as share the free card with her.
I love that. I love that. And I know Ruben has had some success with sharing out free cards and sort of getting progress or traction in that way. So do not be afraid to give stuff away, guys. It does not matter whether they enroll the next day, a week later, a month later. If you're an affiliate here and you've shared a free card to somebody, and at any point in the future, they become a paying member, you're going to start earning your affiliate commissions from those referrals. So Guy, anything you want to add and as you close this thing out?
Trying to move my mouse over here to unmute myself after the screen that's way over here. But, I think we just want to give you guys the rest of the day or the rest of this hour, if you plan an hour for sprint planning, to get your big win list items prepared. I'm also one that is a proponent of take care of the small things. Big things will take care of themselves. So a lot of those small things are the top of the mind elements. We have there's so many small items that pop up every day for us at ER. So those are elements that we've got to attack. Yep. So with that, we're going to give you guys a little bit of time to schedule the rest of your week. I know we'll be on tomorrow for Tech Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central with Kathy. That is on that Week at a Glance card. We have our Thursday mastermind micro learning educational piece at 10 a.m. Mountain. That's 11 a.m. Central. And then we'll wrap up the week with Friday with the Founders. Encouraged to hopefully have some of you come on and give your win for the week or multiple wins for the week on how sharing has helped get information out about what you do, how you can help others. So with that, we are going to wrap this up unless you have anything else to add.
I just got one more thing to say. If anybody's been looking at the calendar, it's June 20th, okay? We are the last full week of 6 months of 2022, okay? So for anybody, the first 6 months of the year maybe feels like it flew by, right? This is your opportunity to finish your first 2 quarters strong, even if you don't feel like you've been making forward progress. Finish this week strong. Guy, next week, I know we talk about this, the Wheel of Life and some of these other things. We do that on a 6-month revolving basis. That means in July or probably next week, we're really going to sink our teeth into where are you at? Did you make forward progress? What's the status check? Because that's going to be your point A, and we're going to reestablish what your point B is. And we're going to make a plan, again, just to reevaluate so that we can make a plan back on our wheel of life and get back and reset. Some of us, we maybe haven't been looking at this as often as we feel we should. We may be off base or maybe have let some of these things go idle on some of the spokes. So it's going to be an opportunity, again, every 6 months to come back and look at that, review that, course correct, use our compass to get back into alignment, etc., and really get back onto a path so we can finish the year strong. Now, Guy and I typically on sprint planning talk about 1 week at a time, 52 weeks for the year, right? So that puts us right around 25, 26, 27 weeks in so far. We just want to course correct, stop, spot check ourselves so that we can get prepared for the next 25, 26, 27 weeks ahead. And then we'll just take them 1 week at a time. You know what I mean? This is just our chance to sort of, where are we at along the way? Tuesday, did you have a question? I saw your hand
quick
go up.
question. I just rejoined. And where could I get a copy of that Wheel of Life?
I'm pretty sure these are going to be in your affiliate assets. If you log
Okay,
in
my
at
affiliate?
affiliate.lfi.com, you'll find a little folder or tab on the side that says affiliate assets. You'll find things like the Wheel of Life or the Mindset of a Champion win list, what's important right now. Also, along with any other links, logos, and things like that that you might need for your business. And we'll go through it. We're going to go through it in depth. Many of you know that this is a lot based on Mindset of a Champion from Edwin and Michael, and further based on Born to Win, Zig Ziglar. So that's another thing. If you're looking for something to listen into the background while you're taking care of things this week, check out that audiobook and go through it. There's a lot of other similar audiobooks out there, I know, and then let's get laser focused back on our wheel of life and then the resulting plans that are going to come out of it. Okay. All right, everybody, let's make it a great week. If you need anything, please reach out to the community. We are here to support each other. Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a good